Stop scrolling right now because the 10 pence coin you have ignored your entire life could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we are counting down the top 3 most valuable 10 pence coins ever found, coins that slipped into circulation quietly and later exploded in value. Because of rare dates, minting errors, and extremely limited releases, these are not just pocket change, they are hidden collectibles that turned ordinary people into lucky discoverers. Imagine paying for something small with a coin worth hundreds, or even thousands. In this video, we reveal the 3 10 pence coins that collectors hunt relentlessly, coins that look normal unless you know exactly what to check. Stay with me until the end, because the number 1 10 pence coin is so rare that most people will never see one in real life, and once you learn these secrets, you will never look at a 10 pence coin the same way again. Imagine holding a small piece of metal that carries the echo of an entire empire, a coin that witnessed the last era before a nation reinvented its own identity, the 10 new pence coin of 1975. A shining silver disc that represents a bridge between old British tradition and the fast-changing modern world, and today we are diving deep into the story of this remarkable coin, a story packed with royal symbolism, national pride, industrial evolution, dramatic cultural shifts, and the final days leading up to a major transformation in UK coinage history. And by the end of this journey, you will understand why the 1975 10 new pence coin is more than loose change. It is a relic of transition, a museum piece in your pocket, and a silent witness to one of the biggest monetary reforms the United Kingdom ever experienced. So settle in and get ready, because this is not just a coin history. This is a 2-hour adventure through the politics, the economy, the artistry, and the national identity encoded inside the 10 new pence coin of 1975, a coin that seems simple but carries a surprisingly powerful story. Before we explore the deeper timeline, picture the UK in the mid-1970s. As a nation standing between old imperial echoes and a modernized world, industries were shifting, currencies were evolving, and the nation was fighting inflation, unemployment, and massive changes in manufacturing culture and global influence. And right in the heart of this national shift, the coinage system itself was still adapting from the massive 1971 decimalization reform, when old pennies, shillings, and florins vanished, and the all-new decimal coins began shaping a new generation of British currency users. The 10 new pence coin, minted in 1975, was a key piece of that new system because it still carried the original full-size design struck between 1968 and 1981 before the eventual shrinkage in 1992, giving it a distinct place in UK numismatic history. Now imagine this coin emerging from the Royal Mint, a facility transitioning from old manual systems to more sophisticated modern technology. The 1975 minting of the 10 new pence piece reflected precision engineering and heavy industrial strength because these coins were struck using copper-nickel metal, a resilient blend of copper and nickel chosen for longevity, corrosion resistance, and a clean, strong metallic shine. The weight of the coin, its thickness, its wide diameter, these were deliberate engineering decisions designed to match the value and importance of its pre-decimal ancestor, the florin. And because the people of the UK were still adjusting to the new decimal coins, the government wanted each piece to feel familiar and trustworthy, so the 10 new pence coin was intentionally made large, heavy, and authoritative to ensure stability and a sense of value. Turn the coin over in your hand and you face the majestic crowned lion, the iconic British heraldic symbol that has stood for royal strength and national courage for centuries. This symbol was chosen to maintain continuity between the old pre-decimal designs and the new modern system. The lion, standing proud and powerful, represented stability in a time of national change. The design, crafted by the brilliant Christopher Ironside, was bold, clean, and deeply traditional, a reminder of monarchy history and strength at a moment when the UK needed reassurance. This lion was not just artwork. It was a message stamped into metal saying the nation may change, but its spirit stands firm on the obverse side. You see Queen Elizabeth II portrayed in the youthful style designed by Arnold Machen. The Machen portrait, used from 1968 to 1984, became one of the most widely reproduced royal portraits in history, appearing on billions of coins around the Commonwealth. The portrayal captured the Queen in a calm, regal, elegant style, with the tiara gifted by her grandmother, Queen Mary. This young, confident image reflected a monarch guiding her nation through modern transitions, and the 1975 10 new pence coin became one of the most iconic carriers of this historic portrait. Now we dive deeper into the specific year, 1975, an important moment politically, economically, and socially for the United Kingdom. Inflation was rising, the economy struggled, and the country leaned heavily on global trade relationships. The European Economic Community membership of the UK was still fresh and being debated, and traditional British industries were going through massive changes at this moment. Coins like the 10 new pence were circulating through millions of hands, paying for bus rides, newspapers, daily goods, and meals, becoming silent companions in everyday life. The 1975 issue did not have a special commemorative design, but that is precisely what gives it value to historians. It represents a snapshot of normal daily British life, a year of real lived experience reflected in every worn edge and every surface scratch of surviving 1975 coin. 7. Though the mintage numbers were strong, collectors today view the 1975 10 new pence coin as historically important because it belongs to the first generation of decimal coins, the era before redesigns, reductions, and modernizations. Each surviving piece helps tell the story of a country still adjusting to decimalization and the lingering memory of centuries of pre-decimal currency. The 1975 coin is a key piece in the sequence leading up to the shrinking of the 10 pence piece in 1992, meaning every early large 10 new pence coin represents a now vanished phase of UK currency history. Now shift the lens to the Royal Mint itself. This year was part of the period when the Mint had completed its move from Tower Hill, London, to its new state-of-the-art facility in Llantrisant, Wales, a major modernization that changed the entire future of British coin production. The 1975 10 new pence coins were struck using advanced machinery that allowed for greater consistency, sharper detailing, and stronger durability. And because the country was pushing to make decimal coins accepted and trusted, the Royal Mint placed immense care on quality control, the finish, metal consistency, strike pressure, and die maintenance of these coins make them an important representation of mid-1970s minting technology. But the story does not end at the mint or in circulation, because the 1975 10 new pence coin became an important reference point for future collectors, researchers, and historians seeking to understand how decimal coins evolved, why they were sized the way they were, how national identity was incorporated into modern coinage, and why the later redesigns and size changes were necessary. The coin represents a balance between tradition and modernization, a moment when old royal symbols merged with new decimal values, and when a familiar lion met a new number-based system instead of old shillings and florins. Deeper symbolism tied to the crowned lion is also critical. The lion represents royal authority, power, and continuity. The crown specifically symbolizes sovereignty and constitutional monarchy, values deeply woven into the national identity of the United Kingdom at a time when political and economic pressures were challenging traditional identities. This coin helped express unity and continuity, and it did so in a simple everyday object that every citizen carried. Collectors today evaluate the 1975 10 new pence coin based on strike quality, luster, wear level, and whether the piece still carries the sharp details of the lion's mane, crown, and lettering. Uncirculated pieces with brilliant surfaces reflect the full beauty of Ironside's design, especially the symmetry of the heraldic lion and the balanced, bold lettering. The relationship between the portrait and the reverse design gives the coin a strong visual presence, making high-grade specimens particularly attractive to numismatists. And because these large early decimal coins are no longer produced, they have a growing collector appeal when we place the 1975 coin inside the full timeline of British decimal coinage. We understand its importance. It stands after the introduction of new decimal coins in 1971, and before the Royal Mint began shrinking certain denominations in the early 1990s, meaning the 1975 10 new pence coin is part of the original foundational era of British decimal currency. This makes it historically important as a reference point and a collectible milestone for anyone studying modern UK coinage. We reach the end of our journey through this remarkable piece of metal. Imagine again the weight, the shine, the bold lion, the youthful queen, the industrial precision, the national changes, and the silent presence this coin held in millions of pockets. Around the UK, the 1975 10 new pence coin is not only part of monetary history, it is part of cultural history, political history, artistic history, and everyday life history. And for collectors, it remains a prized relic from a disappearing generation of large, powerful, beautifully designed decimal coins. Imagine holding a small silver-colored coin that seems simple at first glance, but the moment it touches your palm, you begin to feel the weight of an entire nation's history. A coin that represents political transformation, cultural pride, economic transition, and the undeniable evolution of modern British currency. This is the 1976 10 new pence coin, and today you are about to dive into one of the most fascinating and overlooked chapters in numismatic history. This story is bigger than metal and minting. This is a story of identity, of reform, and of the United Kingdom stepping boldly into a new monetary era as we explore the origins, design, symbolism, production, circulation, and lasting legacy of the iconic 10 new pence coin. You will discover how a single piece of coinage can reveal the ambitions and struggles of a changing society. 1976 10 new pence coin belongs to the early wave of decimal coinage, introduced by the United Kingdom in the early 1970s, an era defined by national modernization and financial reform. For centuries, Britain had operated under the old pounds, shillings, and pence system, an ancient structure with deep traditional roots, but difficult for everyday arithmetic and increasingly unsuitable for a nation looking to modernize its economy. By the mid-20th century, growing pressure mounted for a simpler and more efficient currency system, something that aligned with international standards and reflected a forward-looking Britain. Thus, the movement toward decimalization gathered momentum, ultimately reaching its historic changeover date on February 15, 1971, when the country officially adopted the decimal system, ushering in a new generation of coins, including the 10 new pence piece. The 1976 issue was part of the pre-1992 large-size 10 pence series struck in copper nickel, giving the coin its distinctive silvery appearance. It measured a bold 30 millimeters in diameter, which made it one of the larger denominations circulating in British pockets during the decade. This larger size was intentionally chosen to help the public easily differentiate the new decimal coins from their pre-decimal predecessors during the transition period. And although decimalization was already 5 years old by 1976, millions of citizens were still adjusting to the modern system, making this coin more than just currency. It was a reminder that the nation was adapting to its new era. On the obverse of the 1976 10 new pence coin appears the second definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, engraved by Arnold Machin, a sculptor renowned for capturing the Queen with a modern, youthful elegance. His portrayal showcases the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a recognizable symbol of royal grace used on coins from 1968 until 1984. This portrait became iconic across the Commonwealth and stood as a confident representation of 20th century monarchy, streamlined, clean, and befitting a maturing monarch in a fast-changing world. Turning to the reverse, you find one of the most long-standing symbols of British heraldry, the crowned lion designed by Christopher Ironside. The lion represents strength, authority, and tradition, deeply connected to the identity of the United Kingdom. The crown atop the lion reinforces sovereignty, echoing centuries of royal power and national unity. Ironside's design was chosen to help the new decimal series maintain a sense of heritage, even as the monetary system changed dramatically. The reverse includes the denomination 10 new pence boldly displayed without clutter, allowing citizens to instantly recognize the value of the coin. During a time when clarity was essential, by 1976, the Royal Mint was operating at high capacity to ensure that the new decimal coins were widely available for daily use. The 10 new pence coin played a central role in everyday transactions, being essential for small purchases, vending machines, transportation fares, and public services. The copper-nickel alloy was chosen for its durability, its resistance to corrosion, and its ability to withstand constant handling, making it ideal for a coin destined for frequent use. Millions of pieces were produced, and they quickly became familiar to people across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, forming a part of the daily routine of British life during the 1970s. Science behind its practicality. The coin carried deeper cultural meaning. Britain in the 1970s was experiencing significant change, from political transitions to global economic pressure, from shifting social norms to new cultural expressions. The 10 new pence coin was part of the public face of national identity, and in ways subtle yet powerful, it reminded citizens of their shared heritage, even as the world around them transformed. Its bold lion, its modern queen, its clean decimal value all worked together to portray a country both honoring its past and embracing its future. The year 1976 itself was notable within British history as the nation faced rising inflation, labor unrest, and political restructuring. The coin circulating during that time carries echoes of these struggles, as well as the resilience of the people who used it. Coins often become silent storytellers, capturing memories of the hands they passed through and the events that shaped their era. The 1976 10 new pence coin is no exception. Every scratch may represent a purchase, a weekly wage, a moment of exchange, reminding numismatists today that currency can be a living witness to history. Collectors value the 1976 10 new pence coin for its position within the early decimal series, its large size, distinct design, and association with a transformative period in British history make it a sought-after piece, especially in higher grades. Though not rare in general circulation, pristine examples, graded mint state, can be valuable to specialists who appreciate the artistry, metal composition, and symbolic significance. Before the coin's size reduction in 1992, a larger version remains a nostalgic reminder of the early days of decimal Britain. Over the course of this exploration, we will journey through the creation of the decimal system, the artistry of Arnold Machen and Christopher Ironside, the minting technology of the 1970s, the social and economic realities of Britain in 1976, and the lasting footprint the 10 new pence coin has left on collectors, historians, and citizens alike. By the time you finish this full-length documentary, you will have uncovered all the layers of this remarkable coin, from raw metallurgy to national symbolism, from minting presses to pockets across the United Kingdom, revealing how a single coin can represent an entire chapter of historical transformation. Imagine holding a small silver coin in your hand, a piece so ordinary that millions walked past it every day, yet so rich in stories and transformations that its journey mirrors the evolution of an entire nation. And today we dive deep into the captivating history of the British 10 new pence coin, a coin born during a time of radical change, a coin that carried the weight of a new monetary future, and a coin that slowly evolved from a modern marvel into a nostalgic emblem of a shifting economic identity. And as we explore its origins, its redesigns, its role in daily life, and its deep cultural impact, you will see how this tiny metallic disc became a powerful witness to political transitions, artistic revolutions, and the rhythms of everyday British life. So let us begin our journey in 1968, when the 10 new pence coin first entered circulation. Ahead of the United Kingdom's monumental move toward decimalization, this coin was introduced as part of a larger shift from the centuries old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a modern base 10 structure, and the 10 new pence piece was intentionally crafted to match the size and value of the traditional florin, allowing people to transition without confusion. The new coin featured The crowned lion symbolizing courage, strength, and authority, a design by the renowned engraver Christopher Ironside, whose artistry brought a sense of elegance and stability to the new currency. The coin was large, heavy, and made of copper nickel, giving it a commanding presence in the hands of millions, and for years it represented a cornerstone of everyday transactions used for buses, groceries, payphones, and countless small exchanges that kept life moving across the United Kingdom. But as the decades passed, the economy shifted, lifestyles changed, and the physical size of the coin became a subject of discussion, leading to the transformative year of 1992. When the 10 new pence coin underwent a dramatic reduction in size to make it more practical and cost-effective, and with this change came not just a new shape but a new identity as the United Kingdom continued modernizing its currency to reflect the realities of a fast-evolving world. Yet even after the resizing, the coin maintained its iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, evolving only with her updated effigy over the years, captured through the artistry of multiple respected sculptors whose designs reflected the changing eras of her historic reign. And during its lifetime, the 10 new pence coin witnessed the rise of technology, the fall of old industries, the birth of a digital age, and the gradual decline of coin usage as electronic payments took over daily life. And still, despite these changes, the coin remained a cherished part of British culture, appearing in charity jars, penny drives, pocket collections, and the memories of people who grew up using it for sweets, arcades, or saving it in their childhood piggy banks. But then came 2008, a turning point in the entire British coinage system, when an ambitious redesign reshaped the nation's circulating coins into one interconnected work of art. And the 10 pence coin received a stunning new reverse design featuring a section of the royal arms, specifically the second quarter showing the majestic lion representing England, and this was part of an ingenious layout where all the denominations from 1p to 50p formed the full royal shield, when placed together, bringing a modern, sophisticated identity to British currency. And while some collectors held on to the older lion design with a sense of nostalgia, many embraced the new artistic vision that captured the spirit of a modernizing nation, still rooted in its regal traditions. And over time, special, commemorative versions of the 10 pence coin would emerge, including the popular A to Z series launched in 2018, celebrating British icons from the Angel of the North to the zebra crossing. And this breathed new life into the denomination, making it one of the most exciting coins for collectors around the world. And so the humble 10 new pence coin carries within it a grand story, one that spans generations of families' economic evolution, artistic brilliance, and national identity. And today, whether you hold an original 1968 large-size coin or a modern shield design piece, you are not just holding currency but a fragment of living history, a piece of metal that has passed through markets, schools, factories, train stations, arcades, and millions of everyday hands. And its journey tells us that even the smallest objects can hold extraordinary stories of change, resilience, and culture. And as we explore this coin in the following chapters, you will discover its hidden details, its rare varieties, its minting secrets, its surprising collector value, and its unforgettable legacy, making this one of the most fascinating numismatic journeys you will ever experience. 10 new pence coin, we turn our attention to the forces that shaped its creation, its production, and its long-lasting presence within the hands and pockets of millions. And the story becomes even more gripping when we look behind the scenes at the Royal Mint, the centuries-old institution responsible for crafting every detail that brought the 10 new pence coin to life. And imagine the atmosphere inside the mint during the late 1960s, a time when engineers, designers, and craftsmen worked with extraordinary precision to prepare an entirely new decimal system for a nation that had relied on traditional coinage for hundreds of years. And among all the coins planned for decimal day, the 10 new pence was one of the most important because of its high level of daily use and its critical role in helping people understand the shift to the new monetary system. And when it first entered circulation, it became immediately recognizable for its bold size, smooth edges, and powerful lion emblem. And its copper-nickel composition made it durable, strong, and capable of surviving decades of circulation, which is why many early examples can still be found today in collections across the world and throughout the 1970s and 1980s. The 10 new pence coin was a reliable companion in daily life used for payphones, jukeboxes, vending machines, parking meters, and even early arcade machines, and in this way the coin became more than just currency, it became part of the rhythm of everyday British culture. And as Britain entered the 1990s, its economy modernized, technology advanced, and the government and Royal Mint began evaluating the practicality of existing coins, and this led to the famous resizing decision of 1992 when the 10 pence coin shrank significantly to reduce production costs, increase efficiency, and create a more convenient size for everyday use, and the smaller version introduced a new era of pocket-friendly coinage, but despite the reduction in size, its core identity remained familiar, retaining the same classic lion reverse design that had become iconic across generations, and even after the resizing, the public accepted the change smoothly because the transition was carefully planned to maintain continuity and trust. And as the decades progressed, the 10 pence coin experienced gradual artistic evolution reflected in the portraits of Queen Elizabeth II, which changed multiple times to represent different stages of her reign, with each effigy subtly shaping the visual story of the coin. And then in 2008, a bold new vision for British coinage emerged when designer Matthew Dent created a groundbreaking concept in which each denomination displayed a section of the royal shield, forming a complete heraldic design when placed together, and the 10 pence coin now carried the second quarter of the shield, featuring the proud lion Passant Garden symbolizing the heritage and legacy of England, and this redesign was embraced as a national modernization, a fresh identity for a new era, and it breathed new life into the 10 pence coin, transforming it from a simple monetary tool into a piece of contemporary art found in every pocket across the United Kingdom. And in the years that followed, the rise of commemorative coinage added even more depth to its story, especially with the launch of the Extraordinary A-to-Z collection in 2018, where 26 unique designs captured the essence of British life and culture through themes like the double-decker bus, Stonehenge, cricket ice cream, and of course, the Union Jack. And these limited edition coins became instant favorites among collectors, sparking nationwide hunts that made the 10 pence denomination newly exciting and highly sought after. And although circulation of the 10 pence coin has gradually declined in the modern era due to digital payments and contactless technology, the coin remains a powerful cultural symbol representing tradition, stability,